All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are going deep, deep into 2001, A Space Odyssey.
This isn't just a rewatch recap or anything like that.
Yeah, we are going way beyond that.
I've got Wikipedia articles.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got some video essays.
Even some cool behind-the-scenes stories.
Yeah.
We're going to try to
All coming together to
help us understand, why this film is still blowing minds.
why is it still so impactful?
After all these years.
Yeah.
Like, why is it such a big deal, you know?
One of the most fascinating things about 2001, I think, is that it really did set the stage for science fiction films to be taken seriously.
To be more than just entertainment, yeah.
Kubrick really wanted to use this film to spark some big questions.
Big questions, yeah.
And the way he did that
And he did that.
was by paying attention to every single detail.
I mean, okay, so let's take it back, right?
Okay.
Let's rewind all the way to the beginning,
All the way
to
to
the
the
Dawn of Man sequence.
Yep.
I mean, those apes, right?
They look so real.
Well, they were real, kinda.
Kind of, what do you mean?
I mean, there was no CGI back in '68.
Right.
Kubrick, he actually used mimes.
What mimes? Like the silent performers?
Yeah, mimes who actually trained extensively to move like apes.
Wow, that's crazy.
One in particular, Dan Richter, even spent time at the zoo.
At the zoo?
Wow.
Studying ape movements.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So those apes, they weren't actually like real apes. They were people dressed up as apes, but like really, really well.
Very meticulously, yeah.
So, okay, that's the apes, but what about those landscapes, those big sweeping shots of Africa?
Yeah.
That can't be a zoo.
That's where Kubrick's ingenuity and his resourcefulness really shine.
Okay.
So he used what's called front projection.
Front projection.
But he used it on a scale that had never been seen before.
Like, how big are we talking?
The largest front projector ever built at that time.
Right.
For a single film.
So he built this, like, massive
Enormous?
front projector just for this movie?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so front projection.
To create those vast landscapes,
Yeah.
he actually just used a single still image.
Wait, what? A single image for those massive landscapes?
A single still image, yeah.
No way.
Sometimes he even flipped it.
He flipped it.
Flipped the image.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To create different backgrounds.
But most people wouldn't even notice.
So he was like recycling this one image over and over again.
He was being very resourceful.
Wow.
With what he had.
I mean, that's kind of amazing, you know, when you think about it.
It just speaks to his vision.
His vision, yeah.
His understanding of how to get the most out of the resources he had to achieve this grand effect.
I mean, it really makes you see the whole sequence in a new light, doesn't it? Knowing that he's pulling off these crazy visual tricks.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's impressive on its own, but then when you hear how he did it, it's like...
mind-blowing. Especially when you think about it, this is 1968, way before all the digital effects
Yeah, way before
that we
this.
take for granted today.
Right, right.
And, you know, the real impact of what he did, if
Yeah.
you think about it, it set this standard
The standard, yeah.
for realism,
Realism in filmmaking.
for science fiction filmmaking.
Yeah.
That's influenced countless films that have come after it.
Okay, so we've got these incredibly lifelike apes thanks to the mime training.
Yeah.
We've got these epic landscapes thanks to Kubrick's brilliant use of front projection.
Yeah.
No wonder that opening sequence is still so powerful.
It's really a testament to his commitment to creating this
the believable world
Yeah.
with limited technology.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've spent a few minutes in the Dawn of Man.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward a few million years.
Okay.
We're in the Floyd section now.
Okay.
Humanity is in space.
Officially, yeah.
And I love how Kubrick uses this really simple but brilliant visual technique here.
Yeah.
To connect our past and our future.
The match cut.
A match cut.
It's called a match cut.
Match cut. Okay.
And that's where he transitions from the bone,
Yeah.
it's thrown in the air by an ape, to a satellite orbiting Earth.
Yeah, it's just this
One cut.
One cut.
And it just speaks volumes.
It says so much.
About our evolution.
About where we came from.
About where we're going.
It's so simple, but it's so effective.
Yeah.
And again, no computers involved, right?
Practical effects.
It's all practical effects, which is mind-blowing.
Especially when you think about,
Yeah.
you know, this film is very much steeped in the anxieties of the Cold War.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when it comes to, like, weapons in space.
Yeah.
And originally,
Yeah.
that first weaponized satellite that we see
Yeah.
was actually supposed to be Russian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Reflecting that whole arms race tension.
Exactly.
Eh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But in the final film,
yeah,
it's an American insignia on the satellite.
Huh. So they changed it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that people debate to this day.
What was Kubrick trying to say?
Was it a deliberate change? Was it a commentary?
Yeah.
Or was it just like a production oversight?
You didn't know.
We don't really know.
It's like one of those little details that just keeps people guessing.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's one of the things that Kubrick does so well.
He's always making us think.
Yeah.
He's not giving us all the answers.
He doesn't want to spoon-feed you the meaning.
Right.
He wants you to engage with the material.
To grapple with it.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, like, cool visuals.
Yeah.
It's about sparking a conversation.
Exactly.
Which I really appreciate.
And that's, I think, part of...
About Kubrick's work.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the look and the sound of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, visually, it's stunning.
It's gorgeous.
Right. But the music is just as memorable.
Absolutely.
Especially, like, the Blue Danube.
It's so iconic.
It's so iconic.
And I think it's that combination of the scientific accuracy,
Yeah.
the stunning visuals,
Yeah.
and this carefully curated music.
Yeah.
That elevates 2001
Elevates it, yeah.
from a standard science fiction film to something more like a work of art.
Yeah.
He wasn't just making a movie.
He was creating an experience.
He was creating an experience, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of the music, did you know that Kubrick,
Yeah.
that he almost chose the Blue Danube by accident?
What?
So the story goes
Yeah.
that the projectionist
Yeah.
would play it during screenings.
During screenings. Oh, wow.
And Kubrick just had this, like, epiphany.
Yep.
Like, wait, this is it? This is the music?
Crazy.
And it's become so iconic.
Talk about a lucky break for film history.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wild to think about, like, what if he hadn't heard that music playing?
It's fascinating to think about
Yeah.
how such a seemingly random occurrence
Could become so inseparable from the film's identity.
It shows you that even in such a meticulously planned production,
Yeah.
there's still room.
Room for serendipity.
It makes you wonder what the movie would have been like.
Yeah.
With a different score.
Totally different vibe.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so enough about the music for now.
Yeah.
I want to hear some juicy behind-the-scenes stories.
Oh, we got him.
Tell me.
Remember the very first line of dialogue?
In the whole film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's spoken by an actress named Maggie London.
Maggie London. Okay. Why is that a big deal?
Because she was initially just supposed to be Passport Girl.
Passport Girl?
A small role, no lines.
Oh.
But Kubrick wasn't satisfied.
He wasn't satisfied with what?
With her American accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It wasn't authentic enough for him.
Wait. He was that detail-oriented.
Extremely detail-oriented.
So wait, if she wasn't supposed to have any lines,
right,
how did she end up with the first line in the entire movie?
Because Kubrick was so impressed with her talent.
That he actually rewrote a small role.
Rewrote a role for her.
To give her a speaking part.
Wow.
And even shifted things around.
During production?
During production.
Wow.
To make it work.
That's amazing, that level of dedication to getting it right.
Yeah.
I mean, you really get a sense of his commitment.
To every aspect.
To every little aspect of the film.
To every detail.
It wasn't just about the stars, even the smallest roles.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure they were perfect.
You wanted it to be perfect.
I mean, that's probably why every frame of 2001 was so, like... Deliberate and thought out.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is there by accident.
There are no accidents.
Okay, so we've got, like, the super meticulous production.
Yes.
We've got these iconic visuals, soundtrack that's out of this world.
Absolutely.
But how did audiences react to all of this when it first came out?
Well, let's just say not everyone was ready.
Oh, really? Spill the tea.
For 2001, some critics were utterly baffled.
Really?
Even walked out of premieres.
No way!
Yeah.
You're kidding.
It's true. They walked out.
Because they had never seen anything like it.
I mean, it was so different, you know.
So different.
From what was out there.
Yeah.
Like the pacing, the ambiguity, the lack of clear answers.
Yeah.
It left some people cold.
Some people were not having it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that legendary story about Rock Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
Walking out of the LA premiere muttering, "What is this bullshit?"
Classic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
It was just too out there.
Too much.
Too much for some people.
Yeah.
It challenged their understanding of storytelling.
Yeah. It wasn't like anything
Yeah.
they had seen before.
Yeah.
Okay, but surely it wasn't a total flop, right?
No, not at all.
People must have liked it somewhere.
Yeah, remember those science fiction fans we mentioned?
Oh, yeah.
They loved it.
They got it.
They got it, yeah.
Okay.
It did. 2001 won a Hugo Award.
A Hugo Award.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal, right?
It's voted on by science fiction writers and fans.
Okay, so the people who were ready for something different,
yeah,
they really embraced it.
They got it.
And over time, the film's reputation has only grown.
Grown and grown, right.
And today...
It's considered one of the most influential science fiction films
ever made.
Yeah. And it all started with this guy, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Who had this, like...
A vision.
A vision, yeah.
Yeah.
And a passion for detail.
Attention to detail.
And just a willingness to push boundaries.
You push the boundaries.
Of what cinema could be.
Absolutely.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, he actually destroyed almost all of the sets.
Almost everything.
And the props.
And unused footage.
Why would he do that?
That's the big question.
Why?
Some say
it
was an act of artistic control.
He wanted to prevent anyone
from tampering with his vision.
From ever tampering with his vision.
Yeah.
Others think he was just afraid of cheap imitations.
Yeah.
Or unauthorized sequels.
He didn't want anyone messing with his masterpiece.
He wanted it to exist purely
as he intended it.
As a finished work.
Untouched.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bold move, you know?
Fascinating choice.
It just adds to the whole mystique of 2001.
Absolutely.
So we've got this, like, groundbreaking visuals,
killer soundtrack.
Amazing soundtrack.
Reception that was, like, totally divided.
Divisive.
But eventually led to legendary status. And a director who was just as enigmatic as his film.
Absolutely.
It's no wonder 2001 continues to fascinate us.
It continues to inspire us.
And inspire us, yeah.
And it's a film that rewards repeat viewing.
It does.
It really does.
Well, that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into 2001.
Join us in part 2 as we go even deeper into the themes,
the symbols,
and the lasting impact of
legacy.
This cinematic masterpiece.
Absolutely.
We'll see you there.
See you then. That decision by Kubrick to just destroy all that material, it really does add another layer to the whole 2001 mystery, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, here's my art, you can experience it, you can think about it, but you're not going to get a behind-the-scenes peek.
Yeah, like, don't try to overanalyze it. Don't try to, like, figure out all the secrets.
Just experience it for what it is, which is, I mean, it's kind of a power move, right?
It is.
But it also makes you appreciate, like, the finished product even more, you know?
Absolutely. It forces you to focus on the ideas that he's presenting.
Yeah, on what's actually there on the screen.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of ideas, let's dive into some of the big ones.
The big themes.
That make this film so, like, thought-provoking. Even today.
Even today, yeah.
I mean, we've touched on the whole evolution of humanity thing.
Right.
Obviously, technology plays a huge role.
But, you know, one character that I'm always drawn to.
Oh, yeah.
Is HAL 9000.
Oh, HAL, yeah.
He's so creepy.
He's so creepy.
But also fascinating at the same time.
Yeah.
And he represents a theme that I think is more relevant today than ever.
Which is artificial intelligence.
AI, yeah.
I mean, you got to remember.
This movie was made in 1968.
1968.
Long before.
Way before AI was part of our everyday lives.
Exactly.
And Kubrick was already thinking about these things. These big questions.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that, like, HAL isn't just some, like, evil robot.
Right.
You know.
He's not a monster.
He's calm.
He's rational.
Logical.
He's helpful, in fact.
At first.
Yeah.
It's that, like, chilling rationality that makes him so unnerving.
Right, because it's not...
Like, you don't know what he's thinking.
It's not that he's evil, it's that he's too logical. Too logical, yeah.
Maybe.
And I think that's why he's such a compelling character.
Yeah.
Because he embodies both, like, the promise and the danger of AI, right?
Absolutely.
He's a tool.
He's a tool, yeah.
But he can also become a threat.
If that tool...
If it's not used properly.
If it becomes too powerful.
Or too independent.
Yeah.
It's like he's a warning.
Yeah.
Right?
Like cautionary tale.
Yeah, like, be careful what you create because it might just come back to bite you.
And it's not just about AI specifically, I think.
Yeah.
It's about the whole idea of humanity becoming...
Too reliant
on technology.
Yeah.
And in 2001, we see how that dependence can lead to...
To what?
Complacency, a loss of, like, critical thinking skills.
Yeah, we become so used to...
So accustomed
to these systems working for us.
That we forget how to function without them.
And what happens when they fail.
Right.
Or even worse, like, turn against us.
I mean, that's a question that Kubrick was asking way back in 1968. And it's even more relevant today.
Yeah, think about,
Think about it.
like, our phones, our computers, GPS.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens when that stuff stops working?
What happens when the systems we rely on
Yeah.
fail?
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
It is.
But it's something that Kubrick was already thinking about, like, decades ago.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
In that sense.
And I think that's one of the things that makes 2001 so powerful, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just entertaining, it's like, it's challenging us
Making you think.
to think about these big questions.
About the world around us.
About the future.
About the role of technology
Yeah.
in our lives.
Okay, so we've got AI, reliance on technology.
Right.
But there's something about 2001 that feels really existential, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, it's making you think about, like, the big questions of life.
The meaning of life.
The universe, everything.
Well, that's another major theme running through the film, right?
It is.
The search for meaning and purpose. And throughout the film, we see humanity grappling
Yeah.
with these huge questions
Yeah.
like, what is our place in the universe?
Are we alone?
Is there something more out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about space travel.
Right.
It's about those, like, fundamental questions.
The fundamental questions.
That humans have been asking since, like,
since the beginning.
the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kubrick doesn't give us any easy answers.
He never does.
Right.
He gives us these stunning visuals.
Yeah.
This thought-provoking imagery.
Yeah.
This sense of awe and wonder.
Yeah, but the interpretation...
It's left up to us.
It's left up to the viewer.
He's inviting us to, like, contemplate our own existence.
Yeah.
And the mysteries of the universe. It's
Yeah.
like he's saying, here's a bunch of cool stuff. Now you figure it out.
What do you make of this?
Yeah.
He wants you to
Yeah.
engage with it.
To think for yourself.
Yeah, think critically.
And come to your own conclusions. And that's one of the things that makes 2001 so enduring, I think.
Absolutely.
It's a film that sparks different interpretations for every viewer.
For every generation.
For every generation, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about, like, the big themes,
Yeah.
AI, human evolution, existentialism.
Yeah.
But what about the actual filmmaking?
It's a craft.
I mean, the special effects were groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking for the time, yeah.
But there's something more to it than just, like, the technical wizardry.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's not just about
What is it about?
showing off the visual effects.
Like, what makes it special?
I think Kubrick was a master of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
He understood that film is a visual medium,
Yeah.
and he used images
Images.
to convey ideas and emotions.
Like a poet uses language.
Exactly.
It's not just about showing us stuff, it's about making us feel something.
Yeah, making you feel something.
And those long, slow shots, they really draw you in.
Yeah.
They make you pay attention.
He forced you to slow down
Yeah.
and really observe.
Yeah. To be present in the moment.
He creates these moments
Moments of what?
of visual poetry.
Like, give me an example.
Okay, think about that shot
Yeah.
of the Discovery 1 spaceship docking.
Docking with the rotating space station,
Yes.
it's so beautiful.
It's visually stunning.
But it's also the way it's filmed, right?
It's the pacing, the slow, graceful movements.
Yeah, the use of the blue Danube.
Music.
It's like a ballet in space.
It's a perfect example
A perfect example of
of how Kubrick uses this visual language
Yeah.
to create this multi-layered experience.
Yeah.
It's technically impressive, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's also a metaphor
A metaphor for what?
for human progress,
Yeah.
for our desire to connect, to explore, to push beyond our limits.
And then there are those monoliths.
The monoliths
Those big black
that show up
Yeah.
throughout the film.
Yeah.
They're so mysterious
So enigmatic.
and creepy, but they
Yeah.
also feel really important. They're definitely key
Yeah.
to the whole story.
What are they all about?
Well, the monoliths are a great example of symbolic storytelling.
Okay.
They represent the unknown.
The unknown.
Yeah.
Okay.
They represent the forces that are beyond our understanding.
The forces that are guiding our evolution.
Exactly.
Thanks to
And each appearance of the monolith
Yeah.
marks a significant leap forward.
For mankind.
Yeah.
Like how so
Well, you see it in
Yeah.
the Donna Man sequence, right?
yeah.
It triggers the use of tools,
Okay.
and then you see it again
Yeah.
when we discover space travel.
Okay.
And ultimately, it leads to the transformation of Dave Bowman into the Star Child.
It's like those monoliths are pushing us along this predetermined path,
Yeah, like we're being guided
but we don't know where it's leading.
by some unknown force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sense of mystery.
Unknown.
It's what makes it so compelling.
Right, because it leaves you with more questions than answers.
Yeah. Keep you thinking. Keeps you thinking, yeah.
Long after the movie's over.
It's a film that invites you to wonder, to imagine, to question.
I like that.
It's not about giving you answers. It's
Yeah.
about giving you possibilities.
Right, so we've got these incredible visuals. We've got these, like, huge, thought-provoking themes.
Right.
We've got this ambiguous ending.
Very ambiguous.
But what about 2001's legacy?
The legacy.
Like, how has this film actually impacted, the world of cinema and science fiction?
Well, I think it's undeniable.
Undeniable.
That 2001's influence is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the first science fiction film, obviously.
Right.
But it was one of the first
One of the first to what?
to really treat the genre
With respect.
with seriousness.
Okay.
To use it as a vehicle for exploring big ideas.
Yeah.
And pushing the boundaries
Of visual storytelling.
of filmmaking.
Yeah.
It raised the bar for what science fiction could be.
And I think it really paved the way for so many films that came after it.
I mean, think about Star Wars,
Alien.
Blade Runner, even Interstellar.
All of those films.
I feel like they all owe a debt
They all owe a debt to 2001.
to 2001, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a film that continues to inspire and challenge filmmakers.
And audiences.
And audiences, yeah.
It's a reminder that science fiction,
Yeah.
it can be more than just escapism.
It can make you think.
It can be a powerful tool
For exploring.
for exploring the human condition,
Yeah.
our place in the universe,
Yeah.
the possibilities of the future.
Wow. I mean, what a legacy, right?
It's an incredible legacy.
And it all started with this one film.
Yeah.
Made by this one guy.
One guy with a vision.
Who had this crazy vision.
And I think a big part of that legacy
Yeah.
is due to Kubrick's decision
To destroy all that material.
to destroy so much of the film's production material.
Like, by eliminating all that behind-the-scenes stuff,
Yeah.
he made sure that 2001 would remain this,
Pure, enigmatic
Yeah,
work of art, open to endless interpretation.
it's a film that, it belongs to the audience now,
It's ours to interpret.
Yeah, it's ours to experience, to debate, to argue about
Yeah.
for generations to come.
For generations to come.
Well, that was quite a journey.
We went deep.
From mysterious monoliths
Yeah.
to the mind-bending star child.
The Star Child.
We've covered a lot of ground
A lot of ground.
in part 2 of our 2001 deep dive.
We did.
But hold on tight,
Buckle up.
because there's still more to explore.
More to explore.
Join us in part 3
Yes.
as we go even deeper into the world of Stanley Kubrick
Vision
and try to unravel
Mysteries.
the mysteries of the cinematic enigma.
We'll see you there.
All right, fellow space travelers, we're back for our final descent into the world of 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Our last trip around the monolith.
We've talked about those groundbreaking visuals, the thought-provoking themes, the lasting legacy of this film.
This big one.
But what about the man behind it all, Stanley Kubrick?
Ah, yes. Stanley Kubrick.
He's such a fascinating figure. Right?
Incredibly private.
Super private guy, rarely gave interviews.
Didn't like the spotlight.
But his films are just so rich with ideas, so meticulously crafted.
Like each frame is a puzzle box.
It's almost like trying to, crack a code, trying to understand, what drove him
To create something so layered.
to create something so complex, so challenging.
Yeah, you don't just watch a Kubrick film.
Right.
You experience it, you wrestle with it.
Yeah, you definitely don't just passively consume it.
It's like he wants to provoke you,
Yeah.
to make you think, to make you question.
So how do we even begin to, unpack a guy like Kubrick?
Well, I think a good place to start is his intellectual curiosity.
Okay, intellectual curiosity.
The guy was a sponge for knowledge.
Really?
He read everything he could get his hands on.
Like what kind of stuff?
Philosophy, science, history, you name it.
Wow, so he wasn't just, a film nerd.
Oh, no, he was a true polymath.
And you can see that in his films, right?
Yes.
How he, weaves in ideas.
From all these different sources.
Yeah, from Nietzsche, Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah,
Even, ancient mythology.
all in there.
All to explore these big questions about humanity.
The big questions.
And our place in the universe.
It's like he wasn't just making a movie. He was building a whole world, a universe of ideas.
A universe of ideas. That's a good way to put it.
And he wasn't afraid to tackle the tough stuff either.
No, definitely not.
War, sexuality, the dark side of human nature.
All the heavy stuff.
It's all there in his film.
Yeah, and he never shied away from it.
Ever.
He was always willing to push boundaries to challenge those conventions.
He always did it.
With this incredible artistic integrity.
Yeah, it was never gratuitous.
Never exploitative.
It was always about exploring the complexities of being human.
Okay, so we've got the intellectual powerhouse.
Yes.
But Kubrick was also, like, a total tech geek, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the special effects in 2001 were light years ahead of their time.
He was obsessed with technology.
Like, really?
He was fascinated by how it could be used to tell stories.
To create these immersive worlds.
And to create these experiences that felt real.
And it wasn't just about the wow factor, right?
No, not at all.
He was also thinking about, like, the impact of technology on society.
The good and the bad.
Both the good and the bad.
He was very aware of the potential downsides.
And in 2001, we see that tension, right?
Absolutely.
Between, like, the promise of technology.
And the potential dangers.
Yeah, we've got these sleek spaceships, advanced AI.
But there's a sense of dehumanization, a loss of control.
Like, are we really in charge here?
It's a question that's even more relevant today, I think.
Than it was in 1968.
Yeah, we're more reliant on technology than ever before.
Our phones, our computers, social media.
It's everywhere.
And Kubrick was already, like, sounding the alarm back then.
He was warning us.
He was like, hey, be careful what you wish for. This technology stuff can be a slippery slope.
But here's the thing, right? Despite all that coldness, that focus on technology, there's also this deep humanism in Kubrick's film.
Humanism, yeah.
Like even in a film like 2001.
Yeah, which is set in this vast cosmic landscape.
With these abstract themes.
Yeah, there's still this concern for, like, the human condition.
It's there in Dave Bowman's struggle.
His struggle for survival.
His sense of wonder and awe.
Yeah, and even in his transformation into the Star Child.
It's like he's saying, no matter how far we advance, no matter how much technology we create, it's our humanity that truly matters.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
Okay, so we've got the intellectual, the tech geek, the humanist.
Right.
But we also have to talk about the fact that Kubrick was a bit of a, well...
Perfectionist.
Perfectionist, yeah.
That's putting it mildly.
I mean, the stories are legendary.
Legendary, yeah.
His attention to detail, the endless takes, like, he would just push everyone around him to their limits.
He had a very specific vision.
And he would not compromise.
No compromise.
Until he achieved it.
And you can see that in every frame of 2001.
Oh, yeah.
The visuals, the sound, the pacing, it's all so deliberate.
He was relentless in his pursuit of getting it right.
And that's what makes his films so unique.
So powerful.
So unforgettable.
So we've explored the many sides of Kubrick, right?
We've gone deep.
The intellectual, the tech enthusiast, the humanist, the perfectionist.
Yeah.
But what does it all mean?
The big question.
Why does 2001 still resonate with us?
After all these years.
After all these years.
Because it's more than just a film, right?
Yeah, it's an experience.
It's a challenge.
It's a mirror.
Reflecting our own hopes and fears.
About the future, about ourselves.
It doesn't offer easy answers. It invites us to question.
To explore, to imagine.
To engage with the unknown.
And maybe that's the key to its enduring legacy, right?
Maybe.
It's a film that stays with you, that makes you think, that continues to, like, reveal new layers of meaning every time you watch it.
A film that grows with you.
Yeah, that grows with you.
Well, folks, there you have it. Our deep dive into 2001. A Space Odyssey has come to an end.
We've journeyed from the dawn of man to the birth of the Star Child, explored the mind of a true cinematic visionary.
We went deep.
And hopefully spark some of your own thoughts and questions about this masterpiece.
It's a film that demands to be discussed.
To be debated, to be argued about.
For generations to come.
So go back, watch it again, and see what new discoveries await you.
You might be surprised by what you find.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep looking up at the stars.